Unexpected loss yesterday, but they weren't the only team to get upset. The Bills lost to the Jaguars 9-6. The Rams fell to the Derrick Henry-less Titans at home, and the Raiders got shocked by the New York Giants. So, Shannon, after a wild day of games, who's the best team, in your opinion, right now in the NFC and in the AFC?
Skip, I'm going to go with the Cardinals. I think what they've been able to do, yeah, they had that loss that they had at Green Bay. They really should have won that ball game, Skip, and they would be undefeated. But to go on the road and beat San Francisco in the fashion in which they did that yesterday, that really impressed me. Now, they're still, even though I have them number one, the Bucks and the Rams are right there. Cowboys a little distant, little behind those teams. But I think they're really there. When you can win the game without your starting quarterback, your best receiver, and you go on the road.
It's incredible. I don't know how they did that.
Yes. So I'm going to take them, and their defense is really good. In the AFC, Skip, I would put the Titans at 1 if Derrick Henry was there.
I agree.
But since he's not, I'm going to roll with the Ravens. Even though they went to overtime, that defense only gave up 318 yards with an overtime to Minnesota, with Cousins, with those two receivers, with Dalvin Cook. So I think that's very, very impressive. But it's, like I said, Skip, now, I mean, with Jacksonville with Jacksonville beating Buffalo and Cincinnati's taking a step back, Pittsburgh might be lurking, but I'm going to go with the Ravens. I'm going to say Ravens in the AFC. I'm going to go the Cards in the NFC.
Okay, I'm going to start with Baltimore.
Okay.
They keep pulling games out of the fire right and left because that quarterback will not be denied. I've never seen anything like it before. He does refuse to lose. He will will it. Somehow, some way, if it's legs or arm, he will will them to victory, even if it goes to the wire, and it almost always goes to the wire, right? What game did they lose at Raiders? It's an overtime, right?
So he looked like he was about to win that one, and then gets the ball knocked out.
Got the ball knocked out. So I'm going to give you Baltimore because that is highly impressive. It's hard for me to buy completely into Arizona because there's still one team lurking in the NFC that is now shockingly completely off radar. It's a team that had a bye this past week. It's the team that I picked to win it all because the quarterback is still winning the MVP race as we speak. And that's Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. And off their bye last year, what did they do? They took off because he doesn't go anywhere. He goes to school. And he takes everybody else to school, and they clean it up and clean it out and start over. And if he gets Gronk and AB back, as I think he will, coming off the bye, and if they can get Carlton Davis and Murphy Bunting back at corner, they're poised for takeoff. So I'm not backing off the fact I still think they're the best team.
Okay.
And on the other side, I'm not backing off my preseason pick either because I believe the Cleveland Browns are poised for takeoff.
Okay.
The Odell cloud has lifted. I got nothing against him. I like him. I know you know him. I know you've counseled him. You've mentored him. And I hope he finds a new home somewhere. The pressure is mounting on Odell because wherever he goes now, people are going to say, okay, show us.
Right.
You got to go now.
He understands that.
Okay, and he should. But for whatever crazy reason, I think Baker just loved him too much, and they could not click and connect because at first Baker became too Odell-centric, conscious, and he forced the ball to Odell, and then Baker unraveled. And once Odell was gone last year, Baker took off. And I think he's going to take off again, as he showed you he can yesterday. They have a very difficult game at New England, but I think they're going to win it. Then they get the Lions at home, and then oddly, they have at Baltimore, bye, and Baltimore again.
Right.
Well, that's the guts of the schedule is right there, those two games.
That's probably going to be for the division.
That'll be for the division right there. And then they still have the Raiders. They have to go to Green Bay. And they have to go to Pittsburgh. Again, right? They have to go to Pittsburgh and play the Bengals at home. So it doesn't get any easier. Right. I just think they're a really quality team, especially on defense. And listen, that Greg Newsome kid that they drafted at the bottom of the first round, 26th overall, he stood tall yesterday because Greedy Williams was out with a banged-up shoulder. And Greg Newsome said, I got this.
Right.
And he was in the middle of it all day long. Tampa Bay is going to win out. It's going to start at Washington. Again, I said they're going to go 17-0, but but when I look down the rest of it, it's at Washington, it's New York Giants, it's at Indy, it's Atlanta, Bills at home.
Indy's pretty good. Indy's better. Indy's defense is better than you
That may
think.
be their toughest game.
I agree.
You thought it might be the Bills, but I'm just not sold on the Bills, but they have to play at Tampa.
I think the Bills overlooked Jacksonville.
Maybe they did. And then it's Saints at Carolina, and then Jets and at Carolina. So, Carolina at home. So they should be able to win all these games, and then they're going to be back in the driver's seat.
Arizona good.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray can come back healthy. That hamstring for D-Hop, Skip.
Yeah.
The offense. Connor's running it.
No, he is. He was a star yesterday.
Curious, we haven't really mentioned this guy much. Did Mac Jones just put a target on his back?
Yep.
We'll show you a play from yesterday. Some are calling a little dirty. Don't go anywhere. Yesterday, how much will the Cowboys struggle moving forward?
Well, I think the Broncos exposed that the Cowboys' defense is the weak link, and I felt that all year long, Skip. I think they need to get out the leads. The offense, look, it was a bump in the road. Everybody has one of those games in the season. But their defense is a problem. They're middle to below average defense. And if you face the Bucs, number 1 in scoring, Cards number 2 in scoring, Rams number 5 in scoring, you got your work cut out for them. You. So in other words, you're going to have to get into a scoring contest. And now you're saying that we're going to need you to score basically every time you get the football because our defense is probably not going to be able to hold up. Skip, the Broncos played one of their best games. I will concede that. But, it would be nothing for the Bucs to go get 30. Arizona got 30 yesterday with Colt McCoy and no D-Hop. And we know the Rams last night was an aberration, I think. We turned the ball over. We're going to talk about them in a little bit. But these teams that they're going to face, Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers, and the way that defense played yesterday, that's a recipe for disaster if the Cowboys have to face that. Because we know Aaron Rodgers and Devontae. He throws 11 targets at Devontae, he going to catch more than 4, Skip. So for me, I think it just exposed that the Cowboys defense is not where they need to be championship level. Yeah. Michael Parsons, Skip, I told you, he legit. He the real deal.
2.5 more sacks.
He the real deal.
He is the runaway defensive rookie of the year.
Yes, and he might get some votes for defensive player of the year.
Which I made the case for on Friday to you.
So for me, Skip, look, the best thing about the Cowboys, they play in the worst division in football. They're going to string together because they haven't faced Washington football team yet, which should be 2 victories. They get the Eagles again, even though that's in Philly. They get the Giants again.
Yep.
And they get the Giants again.
They haven't played anybody on the road in the division yet.
Yeah.
That comes at the back end of the schedule.
So with
3 of the last 5 are on the road at Washington.
Should be easy victory. Yeah. So they already got enough. They got enough wins now. They win those 3. They win the division. And guess what? Get a home playoff game. So, but I think their defense got exposed a little bit yesterday. You can't be feeling as good today as you were last week about your defense. That's for certain.
I want to be clear about this. Did you just concede the East to me?
No.
Okay, well, you said they're going to beat Washington twice, so I'm not sure how you can not win the East.
But
I'm
not saying, hold on, Skip. I can't concede because I just saw you guys lost yesterday.
Okay.
You due for another 2 stinkers.
All right. So we are now 6-2.
Yep.
Sky is falling, but we're still 6-2.
That ain't, but Skip, look at the division you in. You make it seem like you got a division.
Okay, I predicted 12-5. That means over the last 9 games, they're going to have to go 6-3 to get to 12-5.
Right.
You betting against that?
I got to look at your schedule. I don't know you play. God know you got 3 easy wins on there.
I'm going to give you this.
What?
I got jolted back to earth with a thud yesterday, and I still haven't recovered because I got a headache from yesterday and last night not being able to sleep as I tried to figure out what I had seen yesterday, what I had witnessed, the devastation at home in which we fell behind 30-0. That is a bad sign if we're talking about, hey, this team actually has a chance to get to the Super Bowl.
Right.
I will concede right here, right now, no Super Bowl. I'm back to where I was before the season started, 12-5, win a home playoff game, and have what most people would say was a very good year. But as far as a lot of the national experts, even our man Troy Aikman, have said, yeah, this looks like one of those years where they could just break through. I'm not sure I can make the breakthrough case after yesterday because I was so high on the defense because situationally, every time they needed a big stop at Minnesota on Halloween night against Kirk Cousins, an explosive offense featuring Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, every time they needed to stop, they stopped them cold. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. And I sat back and said, that's how you go a distance in the playoff, if you can keep playing like that.
Right.
But the one thing they have not allowed, they were allowing 88 rush yards a game. They gave up 190 to Denver at home. They gave up 190. It felt like Arizona at home or Cleveland at home last year, where they literally got run off their home turf and out of their home building, right? 190, and they could only muster up 78 yards themselves rushing. And Zeke looked like last year's Zeke instead of